G'day guys, welcome back to another episode of Flashlight Crazy. Today I'm reviewing the Surefire G2X Max Vision up against the Surefire G2X Law Enforcement. Let's check them out. Alrighty, so here they are up close. The Surefire G2X LE, meaning Law Enforcement, and the G2X MV, meaning Max Vision. It actually doesn't say MV on the actual unit. However, these are the packaging, and so MV right here, LE right here. So these are the packaging. They're just types of packaging that you kind of got to destroy when you open them. But the LE, Law Enforcement, is on my right. 600 lumen max, 15 lumen minimum. And the Max Vision has an 800 lumen max and a 15 lumen minimum as well. I will go over some more of the specs, but just wanted to give you guys a bit of a picture of these boxes. Now, if we just take a look here, this is going to be your major difference. So Max Vision beam, and then this is the Law Enforcement beam. So the Law Enforcement beam has a reflector. It's a textured reflector or an orange peel type of reflector, whereas the Max Vision has a total internal, and it is designed to give a really wide spread of light. So if you can see here, that picture is showing you kind of what type of spread you're going to get, whereas here it's different. But you will lose distance. So this has 115 meter distance max, whereas the Law Enforcement has an 187 meter distance max. So a bit more candela in the Law Enforcement, but again, very different styled lights, as you'll see in the night shots. Okay, so just bringing these guys close together, you'll automatically see the differences in size. So the Max Vision is a lot smaller, more pocketable. Not that the Law Enforcement isn't pocketable, but the Max Vision has a thinner head, a shorter body. It just, all in all, is a smaller light. So if we just take a look at the Max Vision here, and I'll just do up the tail caps. In fact, just while I'm on that, I will just let you know that Surefire, that they're brilliant. They are brilliant lights. And Surefire has a very specific message that says, you know, it's okay to keep the CR123s in here. And once you give the tail cap a turn, it completely disengages them. So they're not going to be, you know, experiencing any parasitic drain or anything like that. And in fact, while we're on that, I'll just show you that both of these lights take the same batteries. They are 3 volt high drain devices, 123A lithium Surefire branded batteries. Okay, so as we can see here, there is a stark difference in the size of the head, particularly between the Max Vision on my left and the Law Enforcement on my right. Now, the bezel of the Max Vision is really cool because it actually takes over a lot of the lens. And what's really interesting is that look at how small that lens is. But then when you turn this light on, the spread of light that it gives is super impressive. So it's like a paradox, really. The smaller the lens with this total internal, the more light you get. It's very, very clever technology. Now, the bodies are made of the exact same material. It's kind of that hardened plastic. It's very nice, and I'll just swap it out for a second. It's very nice because it's very grippy, and it just feels very strong and just very worthwhile, these materials. Now, in the hand, I must say that the Law Enforcement does feel better. Now, for me and for my hands, the Law Enforcement feels better, but for smaller hands, the Max Vision will be your preference. I guarantee it, because as I said, it is smaller and lighter, but see how my finger comes well over the head for it to be comfortable to click the tail cap. Whereas with the Law Enforcement, it barely hits the head, and then I've got still, you know, full control with the tail clicky. But it's not too much about the dimensions, because you could deal with either of these lights no matter what size your hands are. What is really going to make you choose between one of these lights is how they perform. So the max vision is a low then high. So the low comes on in your 15 lumens, and that's going to last for 52 hours. And then off and on quickly gets you high, which is 800 lumens, which will last you an hour and a half. The candela rating is 3,303. So it's not going to give you as much distance as I showed you before as the law enforcement, which I think has about 8,000 candela. But the spread of light on this thing is impeccable. It's really, really impeccable. It's the most clear circle you've ever seen. I just love it. It's just beautiful. Really is. But the law enforcement is the complete opposite. So this comes on in high first, then low. And so high is 600 lumens, not 800 lumens. You'll also get that for an hour and a half. And then low, 15 lumens, you'll also get for 52 hours. But the candela rating is 8,700 on high versus a candela rating of 3,303 on high here. But 200 more lumens in the max vision. So let's do some dimensions so we can really see what the differences are. So the max vision from head to tail clicky comes in at 122.3 millimeters, whereas the law enforcement comes in at 134.3 millimeters. The head of the max vision comes in at a very, very nice 28 mil. The law enforcement kicks out to 31.83 millimeters. Max vision body, 24.08 mil. Law enforcement body, exactly the same. And the tail caps will be the same as well. What do we got here? 24 and 24, or just under 24. So the bodies of these are identical. It's just the heads that make all the difference. So I was actually wrong in the beginning. If I line the bottom of the heads there, the neck up, the bodies are identical. It is just the heads that make the difference in size and weight. And in fact, speaking of weight, the law enforcement fitted with two Surefire CR123s is 135.44 grams, and the max vision is 118.24 grams. So as I said, bigger and heavier, but this is going to be the light if you want distance. This is going to be the light if you want literally maximum vision, because it offers you such a beautiful spread. Now, both of these lights are designed to be fitted with either the Theorem deep carry pocket clip or the Theorem switchback. So I will just demonstrate that very quickly. They are very, very easy to fit because, as I said, they are designed for it. So you literally just put that over the neck, put the tail cap back on, screw it up, and there we go. And we have very, very little play, if any. So that is the law enforcement with the deep carry pocket clip there. Very, very nice, very comfortable to use, and obviously very low profile carry. And then I will just put the switch back on the max vision. Again, just fit it over. Make sure you fit it carefully over the O-ring, just so you don't tear that by accident, because the Theorems can have some sharp edges. And turn it all the way around. There is a little bit of spin in the Theorem where there is no spin in the deep carry, but that's okay. It's not a problem. And there we go. So we've got your momentary, switch it back, and we're good to go. I like these as well because when you pocket them, it makes it easy to just put your finger through the hole and pull it out. Just for a quick draw. I like the old quick draw. Now, what I want to do is a bit of a heat test comparing these two, because I think that probably the max vision is going to get hotter because of the extra lumens, but I could be wrong. Also, I think that it's going to get hotter because of much smaller head. But let's check it out. So, max vision on high, and let's go. All right, so a very respectable 29.4 degrees Celsius, and it's barely warm. Okay, law enforcement, let's go. Look at that, 24.6 degrees Celsius, and even colder. So neither of them really heated up. The max vision did heat up more, but nothing like, it wasn't uncomfortable or anything like that. So before we cut to night shots, I just want to do a bit of a clarification in case I was a bit sloppy in my information. So the law enforcement starts off on high with 600 lumens, then goes down to 15 lumens on low. The max vision starts off on low in 15 lumens, then goes to high in 800 lumens. Now, let's just take a look at them on the wall on high so you can see the difference. Okay, so there's the 5,000 candela difference here, or just under 5,000. On my right, the law enforcement, it's a hotspot and spill light. Okay, the further you move away, the more floodier the hotspot gets, but it is a hotspot and spill light. Whereas the max vision is more of a floodlight. It's not a floodlight, it is a total internal, but the total internal that it offers is very, very floody and very, very symmetrical in its circular beam, which you will see in the night shots. So you are going to get a different styled beam pattern, a very different style beam pattern with these two lights. Just give you another look at the lenses and reflector. So we've got a reflector beam pattern here. We've got a total internal here. We've got a bit more of a strike type of bezel on the max vision. The bezel on the law enforcement is kind of like, you know, a young crocodile's teeth or something. Nothing too crazy, although it is still crenulated, so it could do damage if you want it to strike. But I think the purposes of these two are very different. So I think the purpose of the law enforcement is, you know, it comes on high first and it's got that high candela to offer blinding, but also to offer, you know, extra distance. Whereas this one is more of a practical searchlight. It's more of a, I want to see a large area and I want to illuminate a large area relatively evenly. This is the one I want. So let's cut to night shots now, and then we will do some final thoughts and where to buy and prices. See you in a sec. So that's what the max vision does at about 8 to 10 meters away. So this is a small garden, small yard, and the max vision just lights it up completely, right? Now, that is what the law enforcement does. So you can see there's more of an emphasis on the hotspot. There is enough spill, you can still see everything, so it's not like I can't see things. But let's just go back to the max vision. And there's just a more evenly spread amount of light everywhere. So it does feel like it's more practical. It feels like the law enforcement is more of a duty light with the emphasis on the hotspot. This definitely feels like a light, the max vision feels like a light that is designed to just see, you know, as much as possible in a small area. So that is why I think this one is more practical than this one. Both have their place, but in terms of like an EDC practicality, I think the max vision is a little bit better. But what do you think? All right, so that's the max vision at the park. So I was in the yard before. So it is offering a larger spectrum of light, I believe, just in a larger area. There it is there. Well, that's a cool lit up bike. Look at that. Cool. So max vision, just a very even spread of light. And now, law enforcement. So again, as we saw in the yard, there is an emphasis on the hotspot. The spill lacks a little bit of light. Not that you can't see, but it just lacks a bit of light. But you definitely have, you know, more distance with the law enforcement. The light does kind of fall away at the top of the spill, about halfway up the hotspot. Very nice light still. All right, we'll just go back to the max vision one more time. There it is. Even light all the way around. No distinct hotspot, just great spread of light. There it is. All right, see ya. All right, so the max vision is definitely designed to illuminate a larger area. As you saw in the night shots, this thing can just throw a beautiful flood beam, whereas the law enforcement, it's more of a hotspot and spill light. It does have the emphasis on the hotspot, still offers a great amount of spill, but more so a hotspot, directed to a specific area than just a floodie. Now, price difference is about $80 in these two. So this one comes in at 200 Australian dollars. This one comes in at about 120, 130 Australian dollars. So I will link in the description where to buy these two. It is from a place called Aquaterro. I will link them in the description. They've got plenty of Surefire products to have a look at, but I'd love some comments about which one you would prefer. Now, my choice would probably be the Max Vision. I think that the Max Vision is just so much more practical. The even spread of light that it offers is absolutely brilliant. I love that it can be used. I love that it's low then high, so it's more practical for an EDC light because it comes on and low, so it's not going to blind you the first time you push it. Whereas the law enforcement, it does feel like it's more of a duty-based light, and it does come on high first, so it's kind of like if you're in the movies or something and you want to see something, you're going to have to quickly go high, then low, and kind of draw attention to yourself. Whereas the Max Vision, you just click it and it comes on low, and it gives you a really beautiful spread of light. So that'd be my choice, but I'd love to hear what you guys think. All right, thanks very much for watching. Until next time, guys, stay cool and stay safe. See ya.